If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am your host, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody on Facebook. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad you're joining us as well. Yes, as my producer said, we are everywhere. That's right. We are everywhere. And tonight we are bringing a show to you that, it's maybe going to tick some people off. Some people are going to be like, yeah, whatever. It's not important. But I'm here to tell you it's extremely important. And it's actually costing you a lot more than you actually know. It's costing you a great deal. So tonight we're going to be talking about what's your lack of attention costing you. It is. My producer Kim says dollars. It is costing you dollars, and it's costing you a lot more than dollars. And I'm really excited to get into that tonight. So last week we were talking about how to actually have clients choose you over other people. And you know what? This show is kind of an extension of that show, because when you're talking about clients and you're talking about a match, if you have someone who has a desire to have more peace in their life, to have more organization in their life, to have more money in their life, if you as the coach, as the leader of a body of work, if you're not organized, that's going to seep out into every area of your business. And that's not going to be an energetic match for those clients. So this is an important show that's really going to be showing you about clients, but not just about clients. It's also going to show you about your career, about relationships, about parenting, about just your own life, just for you. So if you have any questions and you would like to join us, please come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Join us in the chat room, and you can actually come right into the studio and you can be watching us right from the studio. And I would love to have you do that. So before we dive a little bit deeper into the show, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. If you're new to my show, I am a strategic business coach, and I've had my own podcast now for 11 years. And it seems like a really long time, and yet it seems it's gone so fast. And that's what happens when you really love what you do. And I do love what I do. When I'm talking about the different subjects, whether it be business, whether it be relationships, whether it be about personal issues, whatever they are, that lights me up. And I love to work with individuals and organizations to help them choose something that inspires them, to have them move forward in the direction of their life where they've been desiring to go. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, or if while you're listening to the show, you have a few questions, and maybe you're listening after we're live, so you're listening in the replay on demand, please feel comfortable to reach out to me. I answer all the questions myself. I don't have anyone answering my emails, although I wouldn't mind that. But you can send me an email to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. You can find me on all social media platforms, on thousands of podcast platforms. You'll find me all over. You can reach out to me. You can find me and ask some of those questions. And if it's a match and you'd like to work with me, we can talk about that as well. So let's dive into the show. So we're talking all about details, or the lack thereof, right? Each detail is the glue that holds your projects, your ideas, your business, and yes, even your relationships together. Details are way more important than people actually allow them to be. When you're rushing over your tasks to get to the ones that are more fun, or even putting off when you have time, I'll do it when I have time. How many of us say that? It's costing you money, and it's costing you clients, and it's costing you peace of mind. It's costing you so many things. So we're going to dive into this. And one of the things that I really want you to get is that, I've heard this so many times from people. It cracks me up. I'm just not a detailed person. I'm just not a detailed person. Bullshit. You're choosing, and I'm bringing it tonight. I'm telling you, if you don't want to get your ass kicked tonight, you need to leave, because that's the God's truth. Yeah, I call bullshit. It absolutely is something that you can choose. Nobody is a victim to the skill of actually being attentive to details, because that's what it is, right? You're being attentive. You're paying attention. So how many people out there that are saying that they're not great with details are choosing to not be attentive, to not be present in their lives or present in their relationships, right? How many people out there are just saying, whatever, I'm just going to go along, blah, 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 and they don't care about it. And you actually need to really pay attention to that, because look at your life. Where in your life are you struggling? Where in your life are you wishing to have something greater? What are you desiring yet not taking action on? Are there areas in your life that you desire and you keep saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Well, you know what? You know to complain, don't you? How many people choose to spend more energy and more time in complaining and telling all sorts of people about their problems than actually taking action? Most people, until it's so incredibly painful that they have no choice but to either dive deeper down into the pain or finally pull their head out of their ass. That's the God's truth. 80% of people do not change something in their life until it's so painful they can't stand it anymore. Can we please change that? Can we please start choosing greater every day? Greater, it doesn't mean greater, having more stuff. It doesn't mean having more money. It doesn't mean specifically one thing, but choosing greater, having more joy, having more ease, having more peace of mind. Oh my gosh, to have peace of mind, that's really one of the biggest gifts that we can give ourselves. But when we are ignoring the details, when we are ignoring the facts, when we are putting blinders on and not choosing to be aware of the truth of what's going on, we are the culprits that it's creating the chaos in our lives. You can't keep blaming everybody else. And you can't keep saying, okay, honestly, if you're listening to me right now, I'm going to challenge every single solitary person. Give this statement up. Okay, you ready? This happened to me. This happened to me. Okay, first of all, you make yourself sound stupid because you make yourself sound as you have no control in your life. Okay. Now, I have used that statement in the past and I've caught myself. Because I don't want to be the person that buys into the lie that I don't have choice. I have choice in every single solitary area of my life. All right. That's what we really want to get to. We want to understand that we have choice. That's why that word and that whole concept around choice, that was in me for my whole life. I kept looking at choice and choices. Why do you think my show's called Inspired Choices? My business, Inspired Choices. The network, Inspired Choices. Because to me, everything centers around choice. And you don't want to walk around in your life believing that you have no choice. Now, I can tell you that when I had a car accident, I actually said that. This happened to me. This happened to me. No, what actually occurred was I was hit by another car. Now, at that moment of impact and the moments that passed after that, I had choice in how I was going to be with everything that occurred. This occurred. It didn't happen to me. I was part of what occurred. It didn't happen to me. It's not like somebody was out hunting me to have this happen to me. All right. We have choice in every area of our lives. So what are you going to pay attention to? Are you going to pay attention to all of your victim energy, that you're not good at details, that things keep happening to you, like boo-hoo, get over yourself. If you want to have a greater life, you've got to own it. You've got to take responsibility to be joyful. You've got to make a choice every single solitary day to be joyful. I remember someone, a friend that I had a number of years ago. She had a very high level of anxiety. She had a great deal of abuse in her past. And she told me that every single day, and she didn't make this up, she honestly went into great detail. She said that every single day she woke up with the most terrifying thoughts to hurt herself. She woke up with them. And every single day she made a conscious choice to push all of those terrible thoughts out of her mind. And she chose to be happy. Now, was it easy? No, it wasn't easy. It was a conscious effort that she continued to do and continued to do. And she created a happy life. But if she'd allowed all of those thoughts in her head, which were old thoughts, to rule her, she wouldn't have created the life that she has today. And it doesn't matter what is going on for you. Please embrace the knowing that you have choice in all of it. Very, very important piece for all of us to pay attention to. So give me 1 second. I need a little drink of water here. So tell me, where is your focus in your life? Where do you focus? What are you focused upon? Where are your constant thoughts going? Are your constant thoughts going into that victim energy, or are your constant thoughts going into what's next? What's next? What can I choose? What would be fun? Where are you focused? And I want to just, before we go to break, I want to tell you the original definition of detail, which I find very, very interesting, not overly surprising, but very interesting. So the original definition came from 1630, and it says it's to relate or narrate in particulars, cut up in pieces, narrate in particulars. It's to cut up in pieces, to detail, right? So if you feel overwhelmed in your life, if you feel like there's so much coming at you, and I know that many, many people right now are very, very challenged with overworked, or so many things kind of blowing up and still trying to keep moving forward with them in their lives. When you start to cut things up into pieces, separate out, right? Really lay everything out where you can see it all, and you can see the details of each and everything. That's where you can then start to empower yourself in moving forward through the challenges, no matter what it is. Whether you're writing a book, you're building a website, you're creating a business, you're taking care of a family, no matter what it is. This is very, very important. And you have the ability to lay everything out. Now, you may not have the skill today, but I'm telling you, to learn how to be great with details is a task that you can learn. There are things that we are born with. You're not born with the ability to be detailed or not detailed. That is not a trait, okay? To learn how to be, have attention to detail and really work through with details in your life, these are skills that you can learn. You can learn. And there's so many amazing tools out there to support you in your learning. And some of us, I know one person in particular who's listening right now, they are so good at details, it would blow your mind. It would absolutely blow your mind how amazing they are with details and organization. And it's absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, when we sometimes, we swing way over to the point that if we're not doing it in a particular way, it can overpower us. And that's certainly not something that you want to have happen either, right? We want to have joy and peace. We want to be able to have the choices to create the life that we want. Attention to detail is absolutely something we'd like to have, but you want to make sure that we are having it from the place of good, not from the place of perfection. So we're going to go to our first break. I'm going to dive in more with these details. If you're listening on Facebook, thank you so much for joining. I would love for you to come on over. We are going to continue at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Join us in the chat room. You'll see that on the menu bar. And we're going to keep getting deeper and deeper into tonight's show, all about attention to detail. We'll see you after the break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Christine McIver. You're listening to Inspired Choices here on the Inspired Choices Network. And tonight we're talking all about the details, your lack of attention to the details and what it's costing you. So one of the things, there were different words have been popping as I've been thinking about tonight's show. And one of the biggest things that has really popped into my mind is, what does it say about you to your clients if you're disorganized? What does it say to them? Now, some clients may not care, but they may not even realize that your disorganization is actually bleeding out to them. On Monday, one of our hosts, Melita Jelinek, did a show, and she was talking about choosing your clients as a coach, choosing your clients. And one of her points, which was very good, was to ensure that you show up on time and that you hold your clients accountable to also show up on time. Now, in order to show up on time, you have to be organized. So if you're someone that's not showing up on time, what is that saying about you, right? People may not say she's disorganized, he's disorganized, but they might say, she doesn't respect my time. She, is always running in with an excuse, right? Or she's, half put together, and it feels like the first 5 minutes is just, doesn't get off on a great start, and they're paying you. So what is it saying to your clients? What about if you're sending out your invoices late, or you're not sending invoices, or you're making mistakes repeatedly? Everybody, mistakes happen. That's not what we're talking about, but repeated mistakes, or you're not putting the proper information, or you're putting somebody else's information. You're not looking at the details. Well, what's fascinating? In the word disorganization is organization. How many of us out there actually say, as far as our business goes, is we have an organization? Well, if you have an organization, you better vibrate with that energy of that word and actually be somebody who is organized, who actually knows how to put things in alignment. One of the big things when we're talking about business and even about career, but also about relationships, this next piece can be about everyone in every area of your life. When you are not paying attention to the details, one of the greatest things that is going to occur repeatedly is that you are going to have many lost opportunities. Many, many lost opportunities. If you are not able to pay attention and you're overwhelmed, right? You're overwhelmed in your business. You're overwhelmed with paperwork. You're overwhelmed with emails. You're overwhelmed with all sorts of things. We're in a faster online pace today than we ever were. This capacity to be organized, it's not only good, it's essential. It really, really is essential. And how many lost opportunities do you think you've actually had because you've not been organized, right? I talk to people all the time. This is one of my pet peeves. I talk to people all the time about their emails. It's one of the main ways that we communicate, intercommunicate within our organizations, communicate with our clients, communicate with family, communicate with all sorts of relationships in our lives. And I talk to people about their emails, and time again, I will be speaking to someone and something will come up about emails, and they'll say, oh, I really need to focus on my emails. I really need to, clean that up. And I can't help myself. It's like an itch I have to scratch. And I will ask them, how many emails do you have in your inbox? And they will tell me hundreds, thousands. I actually had a client in a class. She had 10,000 emails in her inbox. 10,000 emails. Exactly. Kim says, oh my God, that hurts my head. Exactly. 10,000 emails. There's not a chance in hell that you are paying attention with trying to, or you're just ignoring things. You're ignoring things again and again and again and again. What is that costing you when you're ignoring emails? How many people out there are signing up for this email, that email? You go in to buy a piece of clothing and, oh, can we get your email? No, no, I don't give out my email. No, thank you. Every time you say yes to giving out your email to someone that's not a client or a customer or someone that's important in your life, you are asking them to send you junk mail every single time. I say no to that. I have a note on my front door, no flyers, because what they're doing all the time is they're hanging those cards and putting flyers in my door. No, I do not need to go to my front door and take the garbage off my front door and walk and put it in my recycle bin. Now, some people may say, Christine, come on, that's nothing. Time is precious. Time is so precious. When you're nearing the end of your life, or you're nearing the time when relationships are shifting. Maybe your children are moving out of your home, or you're moving to another city, or, time is precious. And when you actually have all of those, pardon me, little things that you're doing, excuse me. Sorry about that. My throat just wanted to not talk. When you are taking precious minutes again and again and again, they add up. They add up over and over again, and they are frustrating, right? Kim says, if you're distracted by all that noise, how can you pay attention to the most important details? Exactly. How can you? When you're always trying to get ahead, you're always trying to move through all of the distraction, all of the noise. You're not doing yourself a favor, and you're missing opportunities all again and again and again. If you cannot look through your emails in your inbox and consciously be aware of what's there and what needs attention and when that needs attention, how do you know that there's something in there that doesn't have an expiry date that you really, really would need? How do you know? You don't know, and you're not focusing on it, and it can be costing you money. It can be costing you money because maybe you wanted to cancel a service and they had an email in there to remind you about something. And you've got your credit card attached to that service, and there they go. They've just charged your card again. They've charged your card again. It's costing you money. Well, when that happens, how frustrated do you get? How frustrated does it make you? Maybe it actually has an impact on your bank account, and that you end up with more bank charges. Or perhaps you are not paying attention to this, and suddenly it's got you in a longer contract you didn't want to be in. Maybe it's changing something in your business that you did not want to have a part of. This is extremely important. Those lost opportunities and that confusion around the details, it adds to your stress bucket. Your stress bucket keeps getting filled up each and every day. And when you're not clearing that stress out by taking care of the details of your body and bringing peace of mind to you, when you're not putting things in place to give you that mental space, that's adding to your stress. That stress can then have an impact on your health, your mental health, and your physical health. When you are in that space of frustration, it's not only impacting your mind and your body, but it's also telling you that you are not being yourself. So if you're someone out there that you have a business, or you're working for other people, and you want to show up and you want to really move forward in your life, in your career, or you're cultivating a new relationship, maybe a new love, and you're not paying attention to those details, lost opportunities, stress, health, that's going to have an impact on your clients, your position within the organization, and whether somebody is going to be interested in another individual that is really all over the place. The attention to detail is more than just paperwork. It's much, much more than paperwork. If you are not being present with someone, if you are not paying attention, let's say you're in a new relationship and that individual says, I'm allergic to fish. I'm allergic to fish. And you weren't paying any attention. And you happen to put something that in a dish that you've made that has fish in it, it could possibly kill somebody, right? I have heard people say, oh my God, I didn't realize, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. Did you not know it, or were you not listening? Because you're not present and you're not interested in the details. This attention to detail is something that I want to say again, that so many people just fluff it off like, oh, I'm not really somebody who's great with details. No, you're choosing not to be great with details, and it's hurting you. It's actually hurting you. It's like saying, when I'm driving the car, I don't really have my hands on the wheel. I'm not really somebody who puts my hands on the wheel. I prefer the car to drive. Well, I know we have cars that can do that now, but do you know what I'm saying, guys? This is so important to pay attention to this. We are up for our next break of the show, and I really look forward to coming back. We've got a lot more that we need to talk about, and I want to show you some of the things that you can be doing to make your life easier with the details. So you're listening to myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Yes, tonight's show, we are talking all about what's it costing you when you're not paying attention to the details. I'm your host, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. And if you are listening in the replay anywhere on any of the podcast platforms, I would love for you to reach out and let me know how you're enjoying tonight's show. You can do that at Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, before we went to break, we were talking about the word organization and disorganization, in how organized you are, if you are actually an organization, what it's actually saying to your clients if you're not organized, and what's that costing you with your clients when you're not paying attention to the details and you're not being present. You're not completely aware of what is going on. People can be stealing from you when you're not paying attention. People can be, actually, they can be kidnapping your children when you're not paying attention. They can be robbing you when you're going out and you're purchasing things because you're not paying attention to the details. Lost opportunities could be simply in you didn't read the fine detail in a purchase, and therefore you missed out on a big discount, and there's no going back after the fact. How many times have you been angry with yourself because you didn't pay attention to the details? You didn't pay attention to the details, and then you were angry afterwards because it cost you money, cost you a lost opportunity, right? Do you look at other people and go, why do they get to do all that? Why do they have all those things? They slow down and they pay attention. They pay attention to the details. I can tell you, and this is not news to anyone that listens to me on a regular basis, growing up, I was very, very challenged with reading. It was a huge challenge for me. There's a lot of reasons. I don't have a reading disorder. It was more of an emotional abuse that had occurred. And then I got this belief system that I was stupid. And then I just, every time I would sit to read, it was nearly like I was going into like a teeny tiny little panic attack. Like I would start to sweat, and all I could think about was, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be embarrassed. People are going to laugh at me. And then, the mind chatter would just take over. And then I wasn't allowing myself to sit and be able to read. And that was something that I allowed to take over me for a very, very long time. And finally, I can remember when my sister had gone to college. She had her first career and then decided to go back to school, and she went to college, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do in my life. And I had bought into still that, I didn't know, I was really good at cleaning and taking care of babies, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And she continued to say to me, listen, if I can do this, you can do this for sure. And I was so afraid of reading the textbooks. I was so afraid I wouldn't be able to absorb what it meant or even be able to handle the workload. And she just kept saying that to me over and over again. If I can do this, you can do this for sure. I'm positive you can. And finally, I took the leap of faith, honestly. And I was very, very nervous. I was very nervous, but I kept choosing. And every time the mind chatter would get crazy, I would stop and I would focus, and I would pay attention. I was paying attention to each word. I was paying attention. I was making notes. I was diving into the details. And I would literally, just like the word detail says, I would break things apart, cut them up in pieces. I would look at, if I had a chapter that I had to read that night, I would look at the number of pages, and I would say to myself, okay, so this is the only work I have tonight. I have 30 pages I have to read. I'm going to read, 5 pages an hour. And then I would do a check mark, and that would give me that excitement to continue to move forward. I wouldn't get overwhelmed and push it aside, just like people do with their emails. They just push things aside. They don't want to look at it. This is one of the reasons that people get their finances into so much trouble. They get their homes into so much trouble and disarray because they're ignoring it. They're consciously choosing to ignore it. I would bet that more people are consciously choosing to ignore things. And then in that, they're missing the details of the opportunities, of the expenses. And what's actually occurring is they're actually choosing consciously to just push it away. They're poor with details. They're poor with commitment and committing to themselves. How many of you out there can put your hand up and say, I absolutely do it in this area, or I've done it in this area? It doesn't matter whether you have or you are. What matters is that you're here now and you're ready to choose it. It's so critical, especially as a business owner, that we're paying attention to the details. One of the things that when I first started my business, and as things started to get busier and I needed to hire somebody, I would go into a panic about hiring them because I felt like things were too disorganized. I didn't have enough organization in place in order for me to feel confident that I would be able to bring somebody on and have them be able to work, and really for me to be able to really, have the opportunity cost be of a benefit to both of us, not just to the new hire. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, they'll help you get organized. They can't help you get organized if you don't have all your thoughts out and you don't have them in a way that they can actually decimate it out and figure out where each and every piece is going to go. And so what I had to do is I had to just slow myself down and stop. And I had to, chunk out time to put things into order, to put things into an organized package, to start to teach my team members how to do tasks. And that's what I started to do. That's what I started to do is I started to make lists. I started to make lists. Now, sometimes I'll make lists on little pieces of paper. And then when that gets really, really, there's too many of them, which there are right now. I just started to organize those again for the week. Then I will go and I will have a binder. And the binder will have tabs on it to help me stay organized. I have a lot of things that I work on simultaneously, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So Kim, remind me if I don't get back to that. But what this does is that helps me to zero in on what have I completed, what haven't I completed, right? Most of us are getting overwhelmed and choosing to go into ignore. If you start to write things out, you start to make lists, you can start to cut down, just like cutting things into pieces, right? You can start to see, okay, what's completed, what isn't completed. And a lot of times, what I say to people is, as you start doing these tasks and you really want to give yourself credit for what you have accomplished, one of the best things to do is to take a highlighter, one of your favorite colors of highlighter, and I'll show you mine. My favorite color is purple. So I will take a purple highlighter and I will actually highlight the items that I have completed. That gives me self-confidence. It gives me more motivation to continue to move forward. The details can be some of the easiest things. When you write, you start to break them down. They might be just put things in alphabetical order so that you can find them quickly as you're going through them. That might be one of them. Another fabulous tool, and if you don't know how to use this tool, please get some training, is Excel. You do not have to be highly trained in how to use Excel in order to be able to use this to your advantage. The very cool thing about Excel is you can sort things. You can have several different columns and you can sort by those particular columns. So maybe you want to sort by date, and then maybe you want to sort by name, and then maybe you want to sort by due date, or you want to sort by price. There's all of these columns that can give you information for you to be able to access and reference very quickly. When you are having a conversation with a client, a prospective client, maybe you're having a conversation with your accountant or the tax man, you need to be able to reference things to make it easier for you. Yes, we have taxes. Yes, we have accounting that we need to do. We have to slow down to speed up. We need to carve out some time to get things organized. One of the things, I used to have all sorts of paper coming in with expenses. And what I would do is I would pile them up and pile them up and pile them up, right? And then at the end of, maybe 6 months, I would then take 3 or 4 days and just dive into it. And it was excruciating. It was like, it was constantly there. And when papers are piling up, they have an energy to them. And it was constantly talking to me, even though I was trying desperately to ignore it. It was ridiculous. So now I have more than 95% of all of my expenses are emailed to me. And every day I will go through and I will save that expense into a folder. I will save it into a folder, and then all of the expenses are just easily moved in there. It is so easy. It's very easy to sort through your emails and what you're looking for. And it's very easy for my accountant to do what they need to do. So no more of me sitting down and going days and days and days through things. You can get a new system in place. When you have these systems in place for your business, you can actually spend more time in speaking with people about the opportunity of working with you, of purchasing from you. It'll give you more time to be creative. It'll give you more time to enjoy what it is you really want to do. Nobody went into business to do paperwork. Nobody went into business to work through receipts. Nobody went into business so they could sit with emails for days on end. Nobody did. But we've allowed ourselves to get into that place of being so overwhelmed. And now's the time to change it. Start right now. It's so important that you understand the impact of not being present in your life. If you worked a 40-hour work week and you worked every week, you would work 2,080 hours. Out of those 2,080 hours, if you were to actually keep a document, a sheet beside you, and you wrote down the time that you spent on all of your things, and I've done this with many organizations so we could really see where the time is being spent, you would end up seeing how much wasted time that you actually have. When you're willing to get organized and stay organized and get into the details, you are going to start to be able to expand your business far more. You're going to be more energized. You're going to be much happier in your business. That energy is going to translate out to your clients, to your team. It's going to create excitement, because when things flow with ease, it is more beneficial to everyone. It doesn't matter who it is. The accountant calls and says, hey, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And you're like, yeah, no problem. Do. And you find it and boom. That creates ease for you in communicating. It creates ease for your accountant that you're paying. It creates ease for your team. Details are critical. And as Kim said in the chat room, she said, and what are we telling others about how much we care about them when we're not present and not paying attention? If you're not paying attention, you are sending a message to yourself, to your business, to your team, to your customers, to your competition, although competition is not real, to your family, to your children, to your lovers. You're sending it to everyone. You have the ability to create ease and flow in your business. Are you willing to hold yourself accountable to the details? We're up for our next break. You're listening to Christine McIver on Inspired Choices here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be back shortly with a few more tips before we end the show tonight.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for joining tonight. And thank you for being willing to listen to all the areas where you maybe need to give more attention, right? What would it be like? Imagine what it would be like to walk into your office and to have clean surfaces and to have no wires all bunched up all over and no papers all over. And to know that on December the 31st, all of your paperwork is with your accountant. To know that when you sit down at the end of the day, there's not all of this noise in your head with all of this unfinished business. And when you do that with the people that you spend time with, even if that's you, you'll be able to give them your full attention. You will be paying attention. You will make them feel loved and important, and yourself as well. At the end of the day, spending time with you and really being present with you is a beautiful way to show yourself that you do love yourself, that you do care about yourself. And it's in those moments that you will, when you are doing that, when you're paying attention to yourself and you're giving yourself that love and attention, that's where you're going to start to hear the whispers of your heart. You're going to start to hear your intuition. You're going to start to listen to more of what's been trying to catch your attention. And that's a really important thing too, when you are so all over the place and you're so disorganized, even in your thoughts. When you're in that space, you cannot hear what is being asked of you. So many people are walking around their lives going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Sit down and pay attention to you. Pay attention to the little whispers, the details of your intuition within yourself. You know, if I said to you, would you agree that a lawyer pays attention to the details? I would hope so, or they wouldn't be a very good lawyer, right? You, my friend, need to be the lawyer of your life. You need to read the fine details in everything, in contracts, in emails, in conversations. You need to be present. You're missing out on some beautiful conversations, on some subtleties. You're possibly missing out on some ways that people are not being kind to you. Remember, you have the choice. There's a lot of things out there that can support you to get into the details and to make things easier. Remember, you're not a victim, right? You're not born with attention to detail. It's something you can learn. It's absolutely something you can learn. You don't have to organize your whole life, your whole computer, your whole office, your whole home. You don't have to organize it all at once, but begin. Start in the space where you spend the most time. And one of the places that really will nurture you and your body is in your bed. Have your bed made every day. When you go to your bed and you've paid attention to making it beautiful and comfortable and inviting, it will be a welcoming to nurture you as you sleep. Begin in one space and start to see that when you are willing and demanding that you have a more joyful, easeful life, business, career, you will start to take that time to get organized. And once you're organized and you keep holding yourself accountable to that, it's going to keep getting easier and easier and easier. And this is where your life is going to blossom. This is where your business is going to blossom. This is where when the opportunities come by, you won't miss them. You'll make a conscious choice to say yes or not today. You, my friend, have the ability, but it's very important that you understand the details are in everything. It's up to you to really pay attention to whether you're going to slow down or whether you're just going to push it aside. I am so glad each and every one of you were here today, or if you're listening in the replay, thank you for choosing that. Until next time we're together, I want you to remember that no matter what, you always can make another choice. Always. You're never done until you're done. I'm thankful that you were here, and I hope to see you again very soon. Take very good care of yourself. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.